Christmas isn't over just yet. Netflix has one more stocking stuffer for us in the form of their biggest movie hit of 2024. Let's talk about Carry On. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new Netflix film, Carry On. This is the biggest debut of any Netflix film in 2024. It went to the top 10 in 92 countries. It was #1 in the U.S. for 2 weeks. This thing is a juggernaut, and I actually watched it a little bit before Christmas, but with the holidays and everything, haven't gotten to put my review up till now. So we're going to talk about Carry On here in just a moment. First, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are one of my Dan Reviews It subscribers already, I can't thank you enough for that, and love you guys returning to the channel. But if you're not one of my subs, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below, the notification bell as well, or you can just like this video or comment below as well. That stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right, so this is an action thriller film, and people have been comparing it sort of to Die Hard, I think because of its Christmas roots, and because it is an action thriller, and most Christmas movies, of course, are more of the romance style, or the wide-eyed kids looking for Santa Claus style, and very seldom do we get a big Christmas action thriller like this. So sure, there's comparisons to Die Hard, but I think that's probably mainly where the comparisons end. I'll put it out there. Die Hard is a much better movie than this. This is definitely more of a Netflix, hang out on your couch on the afternoon kind of movie. However, if they put this in theaters, it would have done very well. I have no doubt about that, because everyone was talking about this movie. So the basic premise here is there's a young TSA officer played by Taron Edgerton. His name is Ethan, and he ends up being blackmailed into allowing a nerve agent on board a flight during Christmas Eve, and it is going to kill everyone on board and whatnot. And Jason Bateman plays the mercenary who is setting this all in motion, and essentially the blackmailer. But you also have Sophia Carson here, Danielle Deadwyler, who is getting some accolades. I forget what the movie is that she's in this year, but she's being bandied about for a possible Oscar nomination for something, not this. But she plays an LAPD detective tasked with trying to hunt down the nerve gas and try and hunt down who is responsible for this and whatnot. Dean Norris, he is always playing a cop. He was in Breaking Bad, and then he's had so many cop roles since then. Here, he plays a similar role, supervisor of the airport's TSA, so not quite a cop, but certainly in that vein, I suppose. But anyway, largely this is about Taron Edgerton and Jason Bateman. There's, a few side characters as well, but for the most part, no, it's going to be the two of these kind of going back and forth. Ethan has the Jason Bateman character in his ear, telling him, what to do, what not to do, all the while, Ethan's struggling with keeping his relationship together. His partner wants him to advance in the rankings, and so the movie starts out with him asking the Dean Norris character if, there's a place for him to move up. They're trying to expand their family and whatnot. And so that becomes part of the chaos as well. And Ethan has to, basically try and keep his cool while all of this is going on around him. So the title actually has, a couple of different meanings, because, it's called Carry On. So, of course, carry on luggage we think about with the TSA. But there is the idea of keep calm and carry on. And that is certainly, one of the mantras probably going through Ethan's mind during this whole debacle, as he is trying to not show his hand to anybody else, and at the same time, try to do what the Jason Bateman character wants, but obviously trying to stop the nerve agent from getting on board anyway and killing all of these innocent people. So, look, this is a powerful, hard-hitting action movie, right? And it's one of these that really is fairly nonstop, if not action, at least thrills from start to finish. There's a couple of quieter scenes, like at one point Ethan goes to lunch with his gal, and they're talking about stuff, but at the same time you've still got Jason Bateman in the earpiece, telling him what to say, what not to say. So even a simple, sit down at lunch becomes a thrilling, intense scene. So this movie, really ratchets up that factor, to 11 most of the time. And it's a fun ride. I can't deny that. However, it really, really begins to make less and less sense as it unfolds. So I think your mileage with this movie is largely going to depend on how comfortable are you completely throwing realism out the window. In an action movie, a lot of times people don't really care about that anyway. I mean, look at how successful, the Fast and Furious franchise is, right? So I think the mileage is going to sort of depend on that, because if you really stop and think too hard about any number of things going on in this movie, you're like, all right, well, that's would never happen. That's ridiculous. Now we're just being silly, But for me, look, I was just kind of looking for a fun action movie, and I certainly got that here. Jason Bateman always plays a good villain. He's done it a few times. Of course, we know him most from his sitcoms as a kid, and then as he got older, he became, the face of Arrested Development, and then a lot of these R-rated, silly comedy movies, like what was the one with Melissa McCarthy, Identity Thief, like stuff like that. But he's certainly gotten his dark side in with things like The Gift and Ozark. And this is another one where he's just firing on all cylinders as this sort of all but mustache twirling evil dude. But when we get down to it, we see like, oh, his strings are being pulled as well. It's not like he's necessarily the mastermind behind all that. So that kind of unfolds too. But Taron Edgerton, always likable. So he's no notes on his performance either. He's doing his best here with this, sort of TSA agent that is caught certainly between a rock and a hard place, and maybe a third thing as well, with his lady. But yeah, this is one. Turn your brain off. I think you'll have fun with it. I leave Carry On with a B. It is streaming still on Netflix, and a lot of huge response for this movie. So hopefully, they got the eyeballs they wanted on it. Thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time. Bye.